I don't remember that.
Really?
I don't think I was there that night. I think you were out with a couple other people in the group because I remember you telling me about it.
I was with the Dan, but you were there for the repairs. Dan, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were definitely there for the repairs. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize that was going to be so loud. That's my mug root beer. That's Mug root beer, no caffeine, who I'm not sponsored by, but would like to be. So Mug root beer. I drink it.
It's Mug root beer.
But yeah.
Yeah, I do remember the story.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying that you had your lever break off in your pocket, which is kind of crazy because that's a lot of force. I mean, it's
the only explanation I have for that.
That's an aluminum brake lever.
Yeah. And
your pockets, obviously denim or whatever you were wearing at the time.
I'm pretty sure I was fashionably denim.
Yeah, denim from head to toe.
Oh yeah, head to toe. I had the fur on the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was I don't think I was going as fast as they thought I was going. But maybe.
How fast did they say you were going?
They said I was definitely over 100. And maybe
it could have been.
I don't think I was going that fast, but I mean they were with me, so they would have an idea. I don't know. I mean, when I did wreck, it was pretty horrific, like speed wise. Like I went end over end, like I don't know, probably like 15 times.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You mean you're flipping, not the bikes?
Both. Yeah, and it was. I specifically remember when at one point I saw the headlight just buzz by me, and at the time I didn't think it was that close, but that must have been the time where the lever broke off.
Yeah, or somehow. Imagine if you could just replay that. When you get to heaven, you're gonna have to ask, "Hey, can we go back to this one scene? Because how did this happen?"
Yeah. All right, boss, listen up.
Yeah, I got some questions.
Yeah, like certain things don't make sense here.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, so we you helped me put that back together, and we basically cut off the end of the exhaust there, and it was just a piece of sheet metal, right? Like,
well, you had the titanium
originally
Yoshimura slip on.
Yeah.
And we had to cut. Well, we didn't have a way to cut the titanium because it was so
titanium.
Because it's titanium. So we ended up using. I don't know if Dan helped. We got a piece of polished stainless, I think,
what it was.
and rewrapped it and riveted.
Yep.
Into like a shorty can.
Yeah.
And then that's what you had on there.
Yeah.
After that.
It sounded great after that. Like.
Yeah, it sounded a little bit less. Yeah, because the other one was. It sounded good, but everybody wants the straight pipes.
Yeah.
On their car or bike.
Man, those are the days. I love that bike, man. That thing was it was perfectly like fast for normal riding.
Oh yeah, that was a quick bike. So much faster than mine.
Yeah. Well, we did. Was it up the sprocket and so we could wheelie it, but so that added a little bit.
One down, two up.
Yeah, and then because we were able to max it out after that. So what road was we were on like one of those really long roads, and we maxed out both of our bikes, I think. And it read.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it read like 185, but because
what? When was this?
maybe I'm mistaken. Like these times that I was doing all this stuff, but it was. I
don't remember. I mean, it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, so it was flickering. So that was it. That was the max it was going to go. But that was after we had adjusted the sprockets. So
okay,
it was probably like 10 or 15 off, but still, I was going pretty fast.
So there's a joke. There's a running joke that I see on some of the bike, like not the forums but the bike group pages and stuff, and they say that the 600 rider thinks that he or she was doing 170 or 180. Well, not really. It's adjusted. The speed's not correct initially, and then too we did do the sprocket thing, so that's actually bringing it down even lower. So we might have been doing about 150.
Yeah.
You know, somewhere in there, which is still pretty fast. Yeah. I mean,
well, from what I remember, that like after you hit like 110, it basically it looks the same.
Yeah, so. Right. That's what I was saying. Like I think round one. Whatever's not normal speed. So 110, 120. You know, after that, 110 you're going so fast.
For not normal speed.
Yeah. Well, because you can do 80 or 90. I mean, I did today. I went down the back road, and I know I at least broke 120 passing a car.
Yeah, but nowadays,
in a passing zone.
So back then you're on the 600, but nowadays, why don't you tell the folks what you're riding?
So now I have a 1299 with pretty much this double the horsepower of what I had in my Gixxer 600. Yeah. So I had an 04 Gixxer 600 back in 04, and then of course I think the horsepower on that was about 80 or 90 maybe.
Yeah.
It might have been actually less than that.
But they weighed nothing. It
was fast enough. Yeah, no, they weighed 300-400 pounds. Yeah. But my bike now actually weighs a little over 400, so it's twice the power in the same weight body. Now I weigh more, so I weigh like probably 50 pounds more than
those Kawasaki's. Feel real nice on that stomach. If they're still designed like that, they had that nice like flat design.
Oh well, yeah. The Ducati doesn't care.
Yeah. Oh man. But, yeah, so what? Okay, so I know the appeal for me for that bike, but what was it like? That's the bike I want.
Okay. So if you remember back in the time frame when we bought our bikes, which yours was the 05, right? So 04, 05, Ducati had a bike out called the 999. Mm-hmm. And more specifically, I liked the 999R because it, I just remember seeing photos. It looked cool. It was one of the top bikes, along with, like, say, MV Agusta. I remember Aprilia was sort of. These are all like Italian or European bikes that were way too expensive for high school kids to afford, right? So at the time, the 999 was out, and I think that sold it from 03 or 04 up to 2006, and then they had another model following that. But I just liked the look of it.
Yeah.
So you get older. I had the Gixxer. I sold the Gixxer years later, and I didn't ride for a while. And then I said, well, I kind of want to get back into riding. And of course, now I'm making more money. And I said, well, what bike would I want? And I just thought, well, maybe I could get another Suzuki or something. Maybe I get a Yamaha R1 because I like the sound. It has a cross plane crank, and I think sounds pretty unique and whatever. So anyway, I was looking different bikes. Well, I went into a dealership this is back in St. Pete, Florida, and they had a Ducati. It was a 959 Corsa edition, which was like the raced out version of its regular 959 bike, but it was like special graphics and Olin suspension and maybe different wheels or something. And anyway, he started up in the showroom, and it just was so loud, and I could feel it in my chest. And I was like, man, this bike sounds pretty nice. So I was like, okay, that's what I want. I want something like that. But I knew I didn't want the 959 because for the price, it was almost the same. They basically wanted the same price that I paid for my $12.99. So I looked for about the next 6 months to a year. And I had in mind what I wanted. So here's another interesting part of how I got that, which was basically, I told you that part, is I was at a dealership. They started up, and once I heard it, I kind of was like sold. Yeah. So I figured I wanted a low mileage bike. Somebody had already put all the mods on, which was basically just exhaust and levers and rear sets and everything like that. And maybe it had it tuned or whatever, but I didn't really care about the tune. I just wanted the exhaust and a couple things, right? Well, so I go into a dealership just near me, walk in, and as the fates would have it, lo and behold, that I was looking at the bikes in the showroom, and I just looked online either the night before, and I saw a bike that was a special edition, whatever, and I think they wanted, I don't know, 25,000 for it or something. I wasn't going to get that one. I just wanted to go into the showroom and look and see, you know, how I like the bikes in there. And they had one traded in the day before. It wasn't on the website, and it had everything I wanted. It was low mileage, so I had like, I think 4,000 miles. It already had the exhaust. It had rear sets. It had levers. Everything was like high quality stuff, brand new. And it was clean, so I was like, "Oh, okay, that's the bike I've been waiting on." So
that's just like what I was talking about with my story there. The universe will, give you what you want there.
It did, yeah, yeah. That was
the universe was basically you need to slow down for me, but for you, it's like you need to speed up.
Speed up, yeah. I was going too slow for years. I didn't have a bike, and I wanted to get back in the saddle, so to speak. Yeah. So. So I ended up buying it that day, and had to go buy a helmet because they didn't even have a helmet. I couldn't even test drive it because they didn't have like a spare helmet. They're like, "Oh, we got one," and it was like, it was in the back, all dusty. It looked like it had mold on it. I was like, "No thanks, I'm not." So I actually drove over to like a Cycle Gear or something like that, bought a helmet, and then drove back and. Got the bike, did a little test ride, seemed fine.
Nice.
But there's more to that story too. It doesn't end. But anyway, right. So that's how I ended up with the bike that I have now. So I have the bike now. It's sitting at about 16,000 miles, and I ride it almost every weekend that I can. Nice. Because where I live now is beautiful roads, mountain roads. So it's like a dream.
Sorry, I got this wind. It's like that's what that sound is.
It sounds like you're either doing donuts in your car.
That's the rednecks outside. Just tearing it up.
You're in Texas. Get her done.
Get her done.
Get her done. Get her, Rufus.
Yeah, but it's
ain't scared.
But yeah, it's so we used to watch. I haven't been because I've been for the past decade no TV essentially. But
preach
MotoGP, man. Like we used to be really into that, and like I don't know what the hell's going on nowadays. Like, have you been keeping up with
MotoGP? I watch some of the AMA stuff. Like I think I just subscribe to it. So when the race is on, whatever YouTube channel I subscribe, it'll pop up and I'll watch some of the races. So I usually watch the leader bikes and then I'll watch MotoGP. But man, Rossi has retired. So he was of like the big deal.
Yeah.
He was.
I remember that.
He retired a couple years back.
Yeah.
I think I think it's almost been 2 years. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we used to watch him and Matt Mladen and
AMA,
Ben Spies. And there's a whole bunch of other names.
I think towards the end there, he had switched over to GP, right?
I don't remember. That it's been so long. It's like I said,
think he might have
20 years.
Yeah, because he was
all those guys. I think if they were good, if you're, excuse me, if you're good in the obviously in the superbike, superbike class or whatever, then you can go to MotoGP. But I don't know. I think when I didn't have the bike, I just wasn't watching it. So never kept up with it.
Well, the games are, I mean, they're almost realistic. Like at least the way that it looks, like it's incredible.